Hey everyone, welcome back to Data Over Coffee, the podcast where we break down tech and data topics over casual conversations. Now, today we are diving into a language that almost every analyst, engineer, data professional has either heard of or used, which is Python. So, from automation to analytics on to AI, Python has quietly become the go-to tool for the data world. Well, in this episode, Ramon and I are going to talk about why Python continues to dominate, how it's shaping the future of the data work, and where its strengths and limits lie. So, before jumping into Python, Ramon, how are you? Welcome.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Arjun, for the introduction. This is a podcast that we are hosting it by Arjun and myself. And the intention of this is to give you a bit of our more context and idea from different data tools. So if you have questions for us, feel free to flick us a message, an email, and we can discuss one of those topics in those discussions. Because finally, those are open discussions that anyone can jump in with a different topic. So it will be really good. I don't know every single tool, and this is a great opportunity for me also to learn. So I will be super glad to hear what is in your mind, or what do you think that what we present here is nothing like the reality that you have. That is an open opportunity for you to share those thoughts as well. So how I am today, I'm pretty excited to start with Python because I found that Python is it's amazing. It's just amazing, but I will put a little bit more context. So what do you would like to know from Python? What do you know from Python, Arjun?
So personally, I haven't had much experience with Python. So most of the projects that I've worked on, and even when I was working as a BI developer and data analyst, I was using SQL. So I'm very new to Python, but I have recently started a LinkedIn learning course on Python, which is going great. And it sort of like, I always thought that Python is a very difficult language to learn, but as I'm getting to know it, it's not that difficult. And funny, I'll tell you. So I think yesterday I created a fortune cookie using Python. So the random import random function and randint function, and I used it to create a fortune cookie and just asking random questions. Will I become a billionaire? And it gives me maybe yes, no. It's really cool to see. So there are a lot of things that you can do with Python, but I'm still learning. So I think you would be able to help me because you've got a big experience with Python. So can you share with us your experience? What are the tools and tips that you would like to share us? Things about Python we don't know, maybe?
More than happy to share that. I think that programming languages is something that it can scare many people. And I totally understand that because you've seen it as a whole jailbreak code that you cannot understand and what is the purpose of doing this and that sort of stuff. But I want to tell you, when I studied in programming languages, my first programming language that I studied was assembler. And the reason why I work with assembler is because I used to code microchips for electronic devices. And I studied that on the uni, but also that it became my first job. I worked for the Chilean army producing flight simulators, and that it takes me ages to write a single code. I remember that even once I printed out all the pages of coding that I have done for that specific project, and that it was, man, I'm not telling you the false. I create every single line of code without having like AI tools that we have nowadays. I have write every single line of instruction. And when I print it out to read it and be able to find the errors, because that is the way how I used to debug, it was nearly 25 pages of code.
Wow.
And that it was really hard to troubleshooting, and I couldn't ever find what else was doing. And even I have the opportunity that once my computer died, I was format the wrong hard drive by mistake, and I lost all my programs from one day
Oh,
to another.
that's
And
bad.
that, man, that was super painful. But all that assembler code that I have done, it never worked again because I have to rebuild so many things from one day to another. But saying that, that programming language, which I said is assembler, or other people call it machine language, you
Hmm.
need to go through every single instruction to be able to say to the microchip or to the program what to do. Is, for
Right.
example, first, if this condition happened and this condition happened, do this or do that. All right. But it was everything that you need to do it line by line by code. It wasn't something like a statement like a if statement, which is super
Correct.
common in programming languages.
Hmm.
However, someone say, but why you don't do object-oriented programming? I
Ops. Yeah.
didn't know what was that, and
Hmm.
I couldn't picture that because I used to come from a world that every instruction needs to go one by one, one by one. I even used to follow the megahertz of the frequency of the microchip
Okay.
because to make it more efficiently. But that was another world. And
Yeah.
then someone introduced me to object programming language. I
Hmm.
started with Visual Basic,
Hmm.
but then jump into Python. But saying that is like from 100 line of code that to object programming language, it reduced me to one line, 2 lines,
Yeah.
and that it just changed the world for me. From programs that used to take me, as I just said, 25 pages,
Hmm.
then it became to one page,
One
and
page.
it
Right.
it does it exactly the same, more efficiently and more faster. And they say, okay, I will never go back to machine learning code. So
Correct.
saying that, when I started in data, I started same as you with SQL.
Hmm.
However, SQL, some people doesn't call it as a programming language. SQL is a coding that you
Yeah.
use to pull data from different databases.
Databases. Correct.
However, SQL has made a lot of evolution and ended up with something called TSQL, which is Transact SQL, from where you can start to build and do even more stuff. It's not just pulling data from a database.
Hmm.
Nowadays, you can create subroutines, you can create if cases, you can create certain conditions to make the code to work more stable, or if there's an error, throw an error. But if you come with a concept that SQL can only pull data, is way more than that nowadays.
Yeah.
But that is the reason why. But so don't go out from the topic today. With Python, this makes everything so much simple and so
Hmm.
much quickly, because in the way how Python works is a different abstraction on the way how you see the programming. Python work with something called libraries,
Hmm.
which are open source, which
Yeah.
means that you don't need to pay any penny for getting access to amazing libraries. Python was invented in 1991 by someone created Guido van Rossum. And the reason why it has the Python name of the programming language, I used to thought it was because the snake, but
Yeah.
actually it's because Monty Python Flying Circus, which was one of the TV shows in UK.
Hmm.
So nothing related with the snake.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
But their logo
No.
is also the snake,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
No, the logo is actually something blue with a yellow cross. But
I.
then,
Okay.
yeah. But the thing is, like, the design philosophy from the beginning to nowadays
Hmm.
is to make coding simple.
Right.
So I have worked with different programming languages across my career, and I can tell you that Python is one of the most simple ones.
Hmm.
And the cool things that with Python new releases is that, for example, you used to have a function like 10 lines, but with the new Python, those 10 lines, it just take less resources from your computer. You upgrade the Python, you don't worry about that. For example, you jump from Python 3.0 to 3.9, for example, and then just with that upgrade, those 10 lines of code, it will run way faster than the previous version, and you didn't have to do any changes. So
Nice.
the Python that you see from 1991 is nothing compared to what you see today. And the
Hmm.
reason why it became so popular is because I will use this sentence because I found it really good. The reason it became so popular is because Python for me is something like WD-40. You know,
Okay.
WD-40, the oil that you put for everything in your house to make it work more
Yeah,
smoothly.
yeah, 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 yeah.
And that I believe that Python is something like that for me.
Okay.
It's like it works for many things
Yeah.
and do many things.
Hmm.
Of course, there are other programming languages that can do it way better,
Yeah.
but I believe in the technology they can be usable for anyone.
Hmm. Right.
Saying that, that means that if this technology and this programming languages is 10 way better than Python, but it's 100% times more complex,
Hmm.
it's not something that I will apply because I want to go on holidays without worry about my coding. So that is why I tend to use something that it will be really usable and reusable, and then you can start to create a framework with it. All right. How that sound for you so far with Python?
Good. It really looks exciting. I have already started learning Python, so I can't wait to get more familiar with the language and the libraries that you were talking about. I think the random library is one of those, right? So you import a library in your code, and then that is basically it, and you can do anything that that library is made for. And I
Exactly.
think, yeah, and I think the it's also about the logic. So once you understand what you're trying to build, right, it all comes down to the logic. So if statements that you mentioned are exactly those. So if this happens, then do this. If that happens, then do this. Else do that. So somewhere down the line, I think all the programming languages are nothing but how you put logic into your code, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So I think Python makes it really easy to understand that logic and implement that logic. And I guess that is the reason why Python has sort of gained so much popularity over the years, because it is breaking down the complexity of programming or coding into a very simple two-liner, three-liner codes. you know
Hmm.
so yeah, I think that was really good. And also, I wanted to, when you were talking about Python as a WD-40, this analogy hit my mind, that Python can also be called as a Swiss knife, that has everything in it. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's just something that came to my mind,
It's
but
it's
yes.
good to put these concepts in analogy because
Mm,
in that way you can start to relate. I
correct.
think that Python, as I mentioned to you, it became so versatile.
Mm,
But the other thing with the idea that to be an open source platform and be an open source libraries, it make the game changer. I remember back in the time when you used to work in something like a C sharp
yeah.
or C++ and those kind of
Yes.
software, you require to buy and purchase the license for the developer environments to the idle software. But for Python, it comes like right away from your computer. Of course, there are more beautiful areas from where you can work. Like I use personally Visual Code, which is the software that I prefer to use Python. But if you
Okay.
are learning, you can use something called Anaconda.
Anaconda. Okay.
Anaconda, it makes all the environment ready to install in your computer. And
Hmm.
so you don't need to worry to install single libraries and that sort of stuff. So
Right.
Anaconda put it in an easy way for learning. However, if you would like to deploy, it's
Hmm.
better to use something like Visual Code that you can go through the whole code. But if we're just speaking about Python for data,
Hmm.
I think that Python use a unique way to see the data. When I say a unique way, uh, I use the data frames to see the data instead of tables. So there is a column-based analysis for the data. R and other technologies um, also use data frames. R, it could be the competency of the competitor from Python.
Yeah.
However, I work with R and it's not the same. It has
Yeah.
certain things better, but
Mm.
I think that Python is way more usable.
Yeah.
And also within, that AI tools like chatbots, like ChatGPT or Claude or any kind of those
Mm.
programming languages, go to the internet and research whatever that is out there and then it
Mm-hmm.
put into the model, which means that Python been in the market since 1991. And so there are articles about Python science probably that
Mm.
time. And so the amount of information and
Yeah.
blogs and articles about Python is enormous. So that is why when you are learning Python and then you try to use something like ChatGPT, which has Python incorporated already, so
Mm.
you can write a piece of code inside of ChatGPT, and then you can write it inside of ChatGPT.
Yeah.
So without even need to install nothing in your computer. So that makes a game changer.
Mm.
And in the past, it used to take me 6 months, 1 year to be confident with programming languages, but nowadays with the AI tools, it can take you 1 month. And when you do a lot of data transformation, because this is the strength from Python, when you do a lot of data transformation in Python, you will see that instead of to run 20 lines of code to achieve a goal,
Yeah.
with Python you can just do 3, 4, and with the libraries makes everything so much easier and smoothly. And I think that the reason why I use Python nowadays is just simplicity,
Mm-hmm.
reusability. So if I'm doing a transformation for a specific process, I can reuse that code. And the other reason that I use it is because it's so much documentation out there. Is so much sources from where you can do things better. And that is a really important for me because can you imagine studying a new programming language and then you go out there to the internet? It's not much. There are not
Yeah.
many videos and that sort of stuff. So that is the really important for me is to have acquire a knowledge that I can easily go out there to the internet to learn more.
Yeah.
And I think that Python is a great experience. And
Mm.
things that cannot do same as SQL. If you are working with data, probably you'll see, but Python is not like SQL. But for example, in Python, you can import data from an API, which is a way how you communicate with different platforms. For
Yeah.
example, LinkedIn has their own API. You pull data from there, you transform it into Python, and then you export it into Excel, or
Mm-hmm.
even you send it by email.
Yeah.
So those kind of things you cannot do it with SQL.
Right.
That is
Yes.
that is the
Yes.
difference because in SQL you focus on only transforming data.
Mm.
However, you don't have the connector to connect with an API, or you don't have the possibility to import in the code
Mm-hmm.
10 spreadsheets. For example,
Mm.
in Python, you pull data from a spreadsheet, you pull data from a website. There's a library from where you can scrap websites.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, if you want to pull data from, let's say, from the weather, you just go to the website and
Mm-hmm.
then you scrap that data and that it can comes into a table and then you can add it into your analysis. Or for
Nice.
example, if you are interested in stock trading,
Yeah.
Yahoo Finance is an open library that you can use in Python for free as well. And then you
Mm-hmm.
can pull the data from stocks from the last 5 years. And then you can use something called machine learning,
Mm-hmm.
which will help you to create forecasting. And that is the versatile from Python. And
Yeah.
even today with Python, you can start from data transformation and ended up doing a whole website just in Python. Is
Mm.
a Nowadays you can create websites. There is a framework. Python. Let's think as a Python is your language, and a framework is a place from where Python you can using different elements. You can use Python to achieve a goal. For example, there is a framework that will help you to create data pipelines. There is a framework that will help you to create websites.
Mm-hmm.
And those frameworks can be written into in Python. All right.
Right. And
So
you can use Python for creating applications as well, right?
yes, you can
Yeah.
create funky applications or rudimentary application, but it still is a way opportunity for you for testing.
Hmm.
And sorry for saying clunky, but there's the way you remember that when you used to download a .exe
Yeah.
from the internet that you install in your computer.
Yeah.
Nowadays, I believe more that the apps should be all of them should be web or should be
Mm-hmm.
ready to go in your phone.
Mm-hmm.
So Python, you can do web apps. So I
Yeah.
don't use much Python to create desktop apps
Okay.
because when you download apps from one website, I believe that I can be hacked.
Yes.
So I don't tend to install apps. I
Locally.
prefer
Yeah.
to do the code for certain thing, unless of course it's a super official app,
Mm-hmm.
and then I can trust on it. But that is
Right.
my approach doing apps with Python because
Mm.
it's hard to release and also hard to maintain. And
Yeah.
if you do, let's guess that you do a whole software
Mm-hmm.
for your company and you do it in Python and works really well, you deploy it for everyone and then you leave the company. So who can maintain it? It's really
Right.
hard to make because they hire you as a data specialist. You create a tool. Is that
Mm.
you remember that there used to be the time from Excel macros.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Excel macros is the same. It's like it works really perfect in your computer, it works nice and smoothly. You distribute it to your team.
Yeah.
However, you left the company and then someone want to add a new column and no
Yeah.
one can maintain it.
Nobody knows how to do that. Correct.
No, and it's the same when you create apps with
Right.
Python. It's really hard for someone get the same picture that you have from the beginning when you create this app. That
Yeah.
is why I think that the strongest point for Python is for data transformation
Mm-hmm.
and machine learning.
Yeah.
Those are the two strengths for Python for data.
Right.
I believe.
Yeah.
I believe that's my own opinion and experience.
And I think when we compare Python to other languages like R, for example, R is mostly used for statistical analysis, right? So
Mhm.
it is very complex compared to Python. I remember in my post graduation, we learned a little bit of R. So we got introduced to R. But the complexity of that language that was something that threw me off. And I was like, if this language is being introduced to students as an introduction to programming and analysis,
You
then
can scare
it
anyone.
becomes scarier. Exactly. So and that was the experience that sort of uh, given me that idea that programming is difficult. Programming is not for everybody. Coding is not for everybody. But if it was Python instead of R that was introduced to us, then we would have seen that programming is actually not that difficult, right? It is very simple. And nowadays, you get, so this is everywhere. Autocomplete feature is everywhere. So you
Yes.
start writing the code. As soon as I write if, it automatically picks up, gives me suggestion what to write, or at least not the same, but it gives me the structure in how I want to or how I should write in order for my code to not break, right? So there are so many features and so many things out there that make programming and coding easier, and Python is doing a really good job in that case, that it is simplifying the programming for the people who are not that uh, familiar with or
Yes.
experienced with programming languages. Having said that, Ramon, what do you think? So, if somebody is a business analyst or a test analyst and not coming from a programming background, where should they start with Python?
I always put this in a context that you want to learn how to use a tool,
Mhm.
but do you need to know what would you like to achieve?
Right.
All right. If you just want to learn Python because it's popular and it's in high demand,
Mm-hmm.
I will ask you to take one step back and think what Python could do for you. It's like I would like to learn how to use a saw
Hmm.
to build a house. All right.
Correct.
So with that intention in mind, learning how to use the saw, it will become more fun
Mm-hmm.
and also will become more approachable for me. Because
Right.
when I learn how to use the saw, I will make cuts in 45 degrees, in 90 degrees. And learning this, it will get me closer to my
Hmm.
project, which is build a house. In this context, for Python, it's exactly the same. If you would like to do an analysis, for example, one of the biggest problems with Excel is that when the table gets too big,
Mm-hmm.
and then you try to do the audit with another Excel. For example, let's think that we have a table from 8 megabytes and we
Mm-hmm.
have another table of 8 megabytes. When you try to combine together, happy days. But
Mm-hmm.
when you try to apply formulas across,
Yeah.
you will see that will become slow, slow, slow. And no matter if you have a supercomputer, this still will go slow because it's
Yeah.
the way how Excel works. All right,
Mm.
nothing against Excel, it's just the way how it works.
Yeah.
But then if you take this one as a problematic that you have, which is so common for business analysts, so common for accountants, this is a
100%.
great opportunity to learn Python.
Hmm.
And I will tell you that doing a VLOOKUP or XLOOKUP that you do in Excel, putting it into Python, it will be in total, it will be 10 lines of code.
Right.
It will be one line to import the file, another line to import another file, put the libraries, and then do join. Similar to SQL, you can do joins
Mm-hmm.
in Python, and
Yeah.
then you can apply this formula, and then you say export it into Excel. And when you export that Excel, it
Mm.
will be 2 megabytes of file, and then you can distribute. Of course, it won't have the formulas there, but
Yeah.
it will make those analysis so much easy. And
Mm.
then next time that you want to do the same audit, you just rerun the code again. And I just saying, if someone wants to start in Python,
Mm-hmm.
start with a problem that you would like to resolve,
Right.
and that it will keep you fun during the journey. Because otherwise, it's like I remember studying programming languages, and the first month it was just studying about the type of variables
Mm-hmm.
and what is the outcome. I didn't see anything. And,
Correct.
and then the second module, it was about how to use case statement. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but where is the fun? Where is the action? I'm
Yeah.
really impatient and I want to see the action.
Yeah.
But nowadays, in the way how I teach Python
Mm-hmm.
is in practical cases. So we have this Excel dilemma with two Excel files. So how we can make it work with Python? And I
Right.
won't teach how the variables work, because then if someone gets interested why I write this line of the code, even though that I will put comments,
Mm.
go to the internet and you will find 100 answers for that question.
Yeah.
So I will give you the lines, I will give you the comments, what I'm doing in each section of the code,
Mm-hmm.
and that will be enough for you to learn. And now you will start to change the name of the file, the name of the column, and that is the way how you can start to lose the fear
Yeah.
to do programming languages. Because when we speak about programming languages, there are so few of them, they are super complex.
Yeah.
But Python is a tool that will help you to produce better Excels. All right. If we
Right.
take that premise, all right, that's all. I
Mm.
don't want to create a website with Python. I just want to fix the Excel problem.
Correct.
And I do way more than that in Python nowadays because I started to get more experience. But
Mm-hmm.
if you just see the simplification to make your life easy when
Yeah.
you download data from in a CSV file from, for example, from your website, and then
Mm.
you want to analyze it really quickly, Python it will make this job for you easy. And that is the end of the day what you need those tools is to how we can use those tools to make your life easy.
Yeah. 100%. I think so. For my role as also in as a test analyst, what I do is I have to report on testing progress and testing outcomes, and So we use Jira for project management in most of the projects, and
Mhm.
I have to give a report on the defects that are currently outstanding or where they are sitting and stuff like that. So what I do is I go to Jira. So Jira has this feature that you can export the your query that you run in Jira, right? So I export it in Excel, and then I have created my reporting dashboards in Excel itself, but then I have to manipulate the data. So every time I run an export, I have to do manual uh, checks and manual data manipulation to provide that report, and then every time I have to then give the report to the stakeholders. It takes me a little while to transform that data from Excel to where I want it to go. So if Python can resolve that and help me save some time, then I think that is the goal that I will keep in mind, that I want to learn Python because I want to save time that I invest in preparing for the report, right? So I guess what you said is 100% correct, that if we have a goal in mind, that is where we need to start. And if we
Yeah.
are learning something to achieve something, then the fun and the excitement all always comes with that, because we know that by doing this and by learning this, this is what we are achieving. So yeah, thanks for that.
I have one point on that. I
Yes.
just want to say that if it's extended transformation that you're doing,
Hmm.
use Python.
Hmm.
But if there are not many transformation, I'm saying like transformation like this column, eliminate it, cut it, chop it,
Mm.
multiply it by three, so on and
Yeah.
so forth. Do it in something called Power Query,
Oh yes.
which is inside of Excel.
Yeah.
Power Query is inside of Excel and
Mm.
Power BI, so you
Yes.
can use it for cleaning up the data if you are working in the Microsoft environment.
Mm.
If you are not working in the Microsoft environment and you don't have access to the latest version from Power Query, yeah,
Hmm.
Python is a way to go. But I see Python uh, as an enabler for us to also start to crack our head and then bring to a huge amount of opportunities. Nowadays, with Python, you can even include like a ChatGPT questions.
Yeah.
So you create a prompt out from Python that
Hmm.
goes directly to ChatGPT and brings you the answer
Right.
inside everything in the same code. I know
Yeah.
that it requires more experience, but
Mm.
it's so much else that you can do with Python. But just starting with that dilemma
Yeah.
from Excel that you have, it will
Mm.
be a great learning experience for you.
Correct. 100%. Thanks, Ramon. Anything else that we want to talk about Python? I think we've had a really good session today. We've learned a lot from you. Thank you so much for that. Um, and I have personally learned a lot in this session, and I'm excited to sort of go in and play around with Python. I'm using Replit, so that is sort of a web-based application that. So this was just shown in the LinkedIn learning course that I'm doing for Python. So Replit is also nice. You don't have to locally install anything on your machine. It is just on the web, and all the libraries and everything are there on web, so you don't need to install anything, right? But that is a good way if somebody wants to learn or get into Python. If you have LinkedIn learning access, then you've got heaps of courses that you can pick and choose from.
Yeah,
Beginner friendly, and yeah, I mean, go for it.
I have a question for you, Arjun,
Yes.
regarding to today's session and especially with Python.
Hmm.
If a person wants to learn a new programming language and that person is working in data,
Yeah.
why do you think that Python will be something good for that person?
I think like you,
So after what we covered during this session, as a
yeah,
takeaway, let's put it as a takeaway for today.
I think like you rightly mentioned, Python is, so when somebody is working in data, they are, of course, this is given that they'll be dealing with a lot of data, right? Not 800 lines of 800 rows of Excel tables, but I'm talking about heaps and heaps of data. So Excel cannot handle that much amount of data. It crashes. I know, I've experienced it firsthand. Excel is not good for big amount of data, and that is where you need tools like Python and other programming languages to simplify your work and to ensure that you are efficiently working and the data and the tables and the reports are not crashing. So I feel when somebody is working in data, their first and primary, a big part of their role is to analyze data. And when I'm talking about analyzing data, I'm talking about analyzing big amount of data. And that is why Python is a good tool to learn, because that helps you, one, save time in your analysis, and second, ensure that you can work with big amount of data without breaking the reports or without breaking the tables. So I guess that is my takeaway from this, that if I'm working with a if I'm working on scalability, right? So I don't need to worry about if this is the code that I've written, it can work for 800 lines also and 8,000 lines also. So to give me that confidence, I guess Python works for me. I hope
Nice.
that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. It makes sense because I think that the perspective from everyone could be different.
Yeah.
But I use Python as the most simple programming language that I can give access to someone right away.
Hmm.
Okay. And probably people could argue that JavaScript is more easy,
Hmm.
but JavaScript is also can be used exactly as Python does. But everyone is speaking about Python nowadays, and
Yeah.
everyone JavaScript is built up on so many different platforms nowadays. For example, if you want to move all your data pipelines into the cloud, there's
Mm-hmm.
something called PySpark. It's
Mm-hmm.
just out there. And AWS use Python for, you can put the pipelines in with Python and AWS. But then if you want to lift and shift and move it to Azure, which is
Mm-hmm.
from Microsoft, you can just easily do it. And so I want to learn a tool, as you say, like the Swiss knife,
Swiss Army knife. Yeah.
Swiss Army knife. I would like to learn a tool that I can use it everywhere. Where's the
Correct.
point to have an amazing tool that it will work just here? Let's go for a play for something that it could scale, can be scalable, but also it can be make our life easy, no matter to the company that you go. For example,
Yeah.
what about if this company they use this other platform, Python?
Hmm.
What about if they're using this other Python? Sorry, this other platform. Python can be also be this a starting point.
That's a really good point. Yes, versatility of Python is much more than compared to other tools out in the market. So yes,
Mhm.
I think learning Python, that is also one more motivating factor for learning Python, because no matter where you go or what tool you're working with, Python works and integrates with every platform seamlessly.
Mhm.
So yeah, thank you so much for the amazing session, Ramon.
You
The
will
next
be
episode
the
is
next one.
AI in data, and I think we'll talk about the upcoming trending AI tools. And AI is everywhere, I mean, yeah, but
Yeah.
that's
Let,
that's
let's
that's
let's
something
face it.
for the next episode.
Mhm. Let's face it and discuss the next session. And
Let's face it and discuss it.
you will need to tell me how much time AI will take my job because I want to spend more time on the beach. So you will need to tell me when AI will take my job. All
Oh,
right.
okay. In 2035. No, I'm kidding.
As you can see, this is a real casual conversation, and we would like to keep it like that because just I want to make you feel that you are part of the same video call that I'm having with Arjun. So next sessions will be keep having this same pace, this same casuality during our conversation. So this is an open space, and as you can see, we even argue we discuss with Arjun during the recordings who would go next. It's because we are learning, and the same as you. If you want to start a podcast in the future, it's a process. and everything that you learn and then you start is step by step by step. And I hope these sessions it can provide you some insights, some knowledge, and also at the same time that we're discussing this, I feel that I'm learning. So I'm so glad and so happy that we pick it up this project with Arjun. So thank you very much, everyone. Have a lovely rest of the weekend, Arjun, and I see you in the next session.
Thank you,
So
Ramon.
thank you for being part from Data Over Coffee.
Thank you, Ramon. Thanks, everyone. See you in the
All
next
right,
one.
thank you,
Bye.
everyone. See you in the next one.